Former FBI Assistant Director for Counterterrorism, Steve Pomerantz. Steve, good to have you. Wish it was under better circumstances. We always talk during these times, but perhaps not a bad circumstance that this was prevented. You know what Jamison's lawyers are going to say? They're going to argue, look, he was a lonely fat guy in his basement. He was clicking around in some chat rooms, and lo and behold, the FBI entrapped him.
Right. That will likely be his defense. I would point out to you that to use an entrapment defense, you first have to kind of admit that you're guilty, which is, yeah, I did this, but somebody made me do it, which many lawyers are loath to do. But let's assume that that's the defense here. And the FBI will have to show, no, we did not plant this idea in his head. He had this fully developed idea. He was going to do this. We came on to the knowledge, and we intercepted him, interdicted him. Yes, we may have offered him assistance to gain evidence, but it was not our idea. He put this into motion, and that's the defining point.
As we heard from Will Carr, and we saw from his picture in his Marine uniform, this is somebody who has special skills. He was a Marine sharpshooter, had the ability to carry out these attacks, would know what kind of lethality using weapons in close quarters would have. Where does this go from here in terms of the fight against lone wolves? Is this, have we turned a corner?
We'll probably never turn the corner. They'll always be out there. And let's acknowledge a couple of things. First of all, this is the best possible outcome to any counterterrorism investigation. We stopped the plot before it happened. That's a big deal.
Hold on, let me pick up on that real quickly. Sure. We stopped the plot before it happened. What is the FBI's balance between getting enough evidence to charge this guy with a crime, for him to plan enough to prove the intent you were talking about, and him not decide he's going to carry out the attack 4 days later or earlier?
You have put your finger on probably the most difficult decision in any of these kinds of operations, because you like to think you have control, and you play it out as far as you can with the understanding, with the belief that you have control. But when you're dealing with human beings, one or more, you can lose that control. So deciding when you're going to interdict and stop this plot before it takes place is the most difficult decision among a number of difficult decisions. But the outcome here, again, is the best it can possibly be. You stop the incident and you arrest the perpetrator. Sometimes you can stop one of these terrorist attacks because of intelligence, but if you don't also arrest the plotters and the perpetrators, they live again to plot another day. Here, that's not the case. We've got them.
The intelligence community is famous for saying our failures are always known, our successes are rarely known.
That's right.
For every one of these Jamisons that they send to federal court and talk about how they found him in a chat room, and we learn a lot about the FBI's methodology in the affidavits, how many silent successes are there?
There are a lot of silent successes. Plots that get interdicted in the very early stages. Again, the difference here is it's known because we've actually been able to charge somebody, to bring them to court, and the incident becomes known. But there are many others that are stopped by intelligence agencies, by law enforcement agencies, that are just never publicly revealed.
Well, and at a time that the FBI is under fire in a way it never has been before, an unqualified success.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, the FBI, in order to do this, they have to have the support, the cooperation, and the willingness of people to support them. And these politically motivated attacks are not helpful, and ultimately the people who pay for that is the American public, not the FBI.
Well, and you make a good point, because the FBI said that the way they found out about this was a confidential informant, somebody coming forward and saying, hey, look, this guy's liking a little too much stuff in chat rooms for comfort, and that's how they got onto this case. If people lose credit in the FBI and faith, then they don't come to them.
Much likely to, not to come forward. And again, the people who pay for that are not the FBI personnel, it's the American public. And it's a shame to see that happen based on what are very often clearly political motivations.
All right. Steve, appreciate you being here, and glad, as you point out, that we got to talk about something with the best possible outcome rather than the worst. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. All right.